In 2014, India moved away from a 30-year cycle of fragmented power, replacing a government of dozens with a mandate for one. For decades, power in New Delhi was shared among a wide array of regional and national players. This was the era of the Gathbandhan, the coalition government. No single party could secure the 272 seats needed for an absolute majority. Instead, parliament was a patchwork of competing interests, requiring constant compromise just to form a cabinet. This arrangement often led to policy gridlock. Large-scale infrastructure projects and critical economic decisions were frequently stalled when junior partners in the coalition threatened to withdraw their support over local issues. 10 years of these compromises resulted in a visible slowdown in national decision-making. By the early 2010s, the friction of coalition politics had created a significant political opening for any leader who promised to act without constant negotiation. That opening was filled by the 2014 general election. It was the first time since 1984 a single party won enough seats to govern alone. Under the leadership of Narendra Modi, the Bharatiya Janata Party secured 282 seats, crossing the majority threshold without needing the help of regional allies. In a country with hundreds of active political parties, winning an outright majority is mathematically difficult. The results suggested that voters were prioritizing national stability over local representation. As the results rolled in, the reaction across the country reflected the scale of the victory. There was a broad grassroots sense that the period of a weak center had ended. This victory reset the basic rules of Indian governance. The BJP now had the numbers required to pass legislation and set the national agenda unilaterally. To understand this majority, we look at 4 pillars of the BJP strategy. First, positioning a centralized executive leader against multi-party indecision. Second, moving away from identity politics toward economic modernization and finishing stalled projects. Third, operating at an industrial scale to reach rural voters. Finally, there was a substantial demographic shift. Millions of young, first-time voters entered the electorate, and many moved away from the voting patterns of their parents to support a new platform. These 4 factors combined to create a unified voter bloc that was large enough to bypass the regional fractures that usually decide Indian elections. With a clear majority in hand, the nature of governance changed. Decision-making became an exercise in centralized authority, allowing the cabinet to move on legislation without the threat of a coalition collapse. This shift was visible in physical development. The government accelerated long-term infrastructure projects, building an expansive network of modern highways and connectivity hubs across the country. The political narrative also changed. Future elections would now be judged on performance metrics and the ability of a leader to deliver large-scale national programs, rather than just local alliances. However, this concentration of power has also led to a debate about the future of Indian democracy. Some see it as a necessary phase for a developing nation to achieve rapid growth, while others worry it reduces the role of regional voices and legislative debate. The 2014 mandate didn't just win an election, it showed that a single party could still achieve dominance in a diverse nation. Whether this becomes a permanent shift or a temporary chapter is a question for the next generation of voters. What part of this political shift should we cover next? Let us know in the comments and follow the channel for more.